All right, Trey was here. Let's go. Well, I'm not sure. Here we are. There now. We're live. Excellent. Good to see you guys. Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group. Always have a little glitch sometimes if you go live. You just never know, people. When you go live, it's just real. It's just the way it works. Thanks for being a part of today's episode of Standing Out, daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. I'm Trey Griggs, Beta Consulting Group. So glad to have you here today. Do me a favor, check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. We are here to help you tell your story. We're help you bring you out of obscurity, of being unknown maybe. Maybe you got a great product or a great service, but nobody knows who you are. We're here to help you do that. Social media management, messaging, content creation, podcasting. We'd love to work with you. So check us out there, fill out a form, and we'll be glad to contact you and get started. Also, while you're there, we'd love for you to be a part of our community. So check out our swag store, shop.betaconsultinggroup.com, or you can also click on it right on the website and pick up some great items. We got water bottles, we got coffee mugs, t-shirts, all kinds of great stuff. Some new hats dropped in there, a pullover, all kinds of great stuff. But we want you to be a part of our team of people that are pursuing excellence every day. So pick up some swag and be sure to use coupon code BETA-GO for 30% off of your entire order during our grand opening here in the month of August. And make sure when you get some swag there, take a picture of it, send it to us. We'd love to see you sporting that swag, whether it's a water bottle or t-shirt, whatever it might be. Looking forward to that. Also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, TAFS. These are the good guys in freight factoring. They're helping carriers keep those wheels turning. And thank you if you're a truck driver. If you're behind the wheel of a truck, thank you so much for what you do. You are the heroes of the supply chain. So we appreciate that. Make sure you check them out at TAFS.com or click on the link that Morgan's going to put into the comments today so that you can go right to my landing page and get started with them immediately and benefit from all the stuff they have to offer. Insurance discounts, fuel discounts, tire discounts, so many great things they have there for carriers to help them keep those wheels turned on the road. If you're a freight broker, you can also become a referral partner and make sure that your carriers have everything that they need. Got some people in the audience already. Erica, what's up? Great to see you. Thanks for watching the show today. Whitney as well. Good morning. Good to see you as well. It's going to be a great show. Tell us where you're coming from today. Throw your city in the comments. Let us know where you are watching from today. And thanks so much for being a part of the show today. Okay. We're going to go ahead and bring our guests in today. By the way, we've had great guests all week. Been a phenomenal week of shows so far. Yesterday, had a great conversation with my good friend Jason Lippert over at Lippert Components. Monday, Eric Kruger with Navix. That was an awesome show as well. Today, Eric Masotti is going to be on in just a minute. Tomorrow, Brad Reinhardt, president of Rock Farm St. Louis and the St. Louis Transportation Club. We're going to talk about transportation clubs all around the country. And on Friday, great conversation with my friend Kara Brown of Lead Coverage. So going to be an awesome week. You can catch all the shows live, 10:30 a.m. Central, or on demand afterwards. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our guest today. Really excited to bring this guy in. I met him about 2 years ago down in Florida, doing some great things with an amazing company and a good golfer, good friend, and just a great conversation. Everybody, please welcome to the show the president of logistics for Trailer Bridge, Eric Masotti. Eric, what's up, brother?
Hey, Trey. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for the warm welcome. Appreciate it. Appreciate to be on.
Dude, you must be a popular guy because the comments are going crazy right now. Luke Peterson's in here. Matt Ronenbach from Kansas City, Kansas. Thanks for being a part of it. It's going nuts, man. You're a big draw.
I feel like I'm more in the obscurity thing that you opened the show with. So I don't know. We like to say TB Nation runs pretty hard. I wouldn't call it a cult, but it's more like the Corleone family and
it's
Godfather.
Cultish.
There we go.
Yeah, I love it.
So
Nice.
we like to support our people. So or maybe they just want to see me, drop an F-bomb or do a couple things that I tend to do from time to time.
Hey, you be you. That's the most important.
Okay.
You be you. That's for sure. Danielle says you're a great golfer. I'd give that. We played golf one time. That's legit. Runs in the family. Although getting beat by your son's going to be rough. I'm just going to throw that out. It's going to,
Yeah, he's beaten me
tough one.
pretty much every time at this point. So.
All right. So for those who don't know anything about you, Eric, take 30 seconds. Tell us about yourself and a little bit about Trailer Bridge.
You got it. Again, thanks for having me on here. Eric Masotti. I work in Jacksonville, Florida area. I work for Trailer Bridge. We're a transportation logistics company. We've got 10 locations across the U.S. Here in the Jacksonville area, we have 3 different locations. Our business units include an ocean business unit, which we ship between the Port of Jacksonville and the Port of San Juan, and we service the Caribbean islands. We have a trucking group that runs the southeast out of Jacksonville. We've got an international group that services clients all over the world, Asia, South America, Europe, and then we've got a domestic transportation group, our logistics group. That's the group that I'm a part of, and they have the domestic offices, Mexico, and we're just trying to provide transportation and logistics and service our clients. Me personally, got a family, 2 kids. My son, who's 13, is a avid golfer, as you mentioned, Trey. My daughter's 10. Today's the first day of school, so it's a big day in the Masotti house. And my wife, who kind of keeps everything together, also does some. She's a counselor as a profession. So
summer is over, which is kind of nice as a parent sometimes. Get that schedule going, get the routine back in play. Into summer can be wild for kids.
No, it's great. I mean, I love my family and I love everything. And, when summer starts, I am so excited that summer has got here. And it's like, we're gonna hang out, but by the end of it, it's like, when does school start? Can we get these kids back in the day? I'm bored, Dad. Can we do this, Dad? It's like, no, I got a job. I
remember that, like by August, you've done everything you're going to do for the summer. It's hot. It's like, just get back into school and get it going. So that's awesome. Now, your son, pretty avid golfer, pretty successful golfer. You said his best round is 74. I mean, that's going to be a lot of guys most days.
Yeah, no, that was his best tournament round that he's had. He shot under par with me a couple times. So he's loving it. It's fun. It's fun to watch him. It's fun when the kids love anything. My daughter's really big into soccer right now, and I played a lot of soccer growing up. So I just enjoy being with them and trying to have them grow.
There's something about seeing your kids find their passion in life, finding that thing that they're not only skilled at doing, but something they just really love. They want to keep practicing, they want to keep doing, and it really draws out the best in them. I feel like sometimes as adults, we forget that. We forget the things that we're really skilled at and that we're passionate about and work really hard at them. Because, as you said, your son was playing golf every day this summer. You didn't have to ask him to go play. He's like, I want to go play, right? And adults, we lose that sometimes. I wish that we thought more like that in terms of our job, or how to find passion in what we're doing. Because when you have passion, like, you don't really feel like you work. It's fun.
As someone who's in the manager side of things at a business, I mean, I see it in our workplace. I mean, I've got we recently opened a Kansas City office, I guess in February, and Kyle Olson is the manager of that office. Shout out to Kyle. And he started with us, I guess, a little over 3 years ago. Was working at a restaurant and started, and he's looking for a professional job, and we're somewhat professional. I think some days it's more like a professional environment than others, if we're not having some kind of football contest or whatever, eating contest. And I think he was just trying to figure it out, and then over the course of his first couple of years, at some point the light clicked for him, and he was like, man, this is something I can make a career out of. And so, as a manager, definitely not a parent, but I do really enjoy when people realize that, oh my God, from the opportunity from professional and personal growth, the opportunity for more income, flexibility to do different things. It's fun, and I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to do things like that.
Yeah, and shout out to Kyle in Kansas City. Go Chiefs! Is he a Chiefs fan? He should be a Chiefs fan.
Well, I mean, he came from Jacksonville, but
he can't be a Jaguars fan. I mean, that's miserable.
It's been a pretty easy sell for him to be like, oh, I guess if I have to like a team, why not the Chiefs?
It's not a bad team to like right now. I mean, he didn't have to live through the 90s and the early 2000s, which was brutal. I grew up there. It was rough. But now, we're living the high life. We're like 13-4. Yeah, we're going back to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's like our expectations now. That's a pretty nice place as a fan to be in that spot. Hang on a second. I lost my audio. Who knows what's going on? This is what happens when you go live. I know. Hang on. Oh, my goodness, everybody. Let's see if we can get it back. All right. Eric, say something. Can you? Oh, Eric, you're muted now. What in the world? Now say something. This is what happens, everybody. You go live and you just have no idea. Can anybody hear me out there? Anyone? Can you hear me?
I don't hear nothing.
I hear you. Okay. All right, here we go. How about now? Can anybody hear me? Nothing?
I've got a team helping me. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I can't hear anything.
Anybody? Can you hear me? I can hear you, Eric. Can you hear me? Anybody hear me? Oh, man. What is going on? All right.
Did the battery go out on them or something, maybe?
Let's try it again. Anybody?
Oh, I got you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is what happens, folks. Sorry about that. I'm glad you got a drink of coffee. Keep the people busy for a while. Yes, everybody can hear me. Yes, thank you. I love it. Everybody's going crazy in the comments, which is great. Well, what I was saying was, it's nice to be a Chiefs fan. It's good. And I didn't hear anything that you said after that, but I'm sure it was great.
Okay. I'm sure. We'll just move on. It's good.
All right. So let's switch over to Trailer Bridge for a minute. Let's talk about, your leadership there. You've been there for several years now. I think probably 3 or 4, if I remember correctly, something along those lines. Is that right?
The start of 2019. So good. 3.5 going on 4.
Excellent. And you started, with Trailer Bridge, you were basically kind of replicating some things you learned in the past. Talk about your experience in logistics and how that led you to being in a place where you could start something and just have confidence you can succeed and figure things out.
Yeah. I've been fortunate in my career from the standpoint that I've worked at both a large multinational, which is where I started. I started at NYK Logistics, Japanese steamship that had a diversified global transportation solutions teams all over the country. So I got to start there at a really big organization that did everything on earth. I then, it was like mid 2000s and had some opportunities to join a startup and did that. I moved to Atlanta. I started out in North Carolina and my professional career. And from there, that was like 07, 08, 09 time period, which was fun for a while. And then it's like the whole world's caving in. And so I learned I learned so much. It was the first time I was a manager and hiring employees. And so I got to see that. I then went to a middle tier kind of transportation. It's still starting out, but just already had an existing office, had some employees managing that. I've stayed in transportation for almost 20 years professionally. I kind of left the direct transportation business from the standpoint that I went to a portable storage and moving provider. And I ran the transportation group for them. We had 70 plus warehouses across the country and came up with a transportation plan in terms of how they move their containers across their network, and got the opportunity to start my own as running transportation logistics group. 3PL, and started that with 0 clients. Now I had the existing business, which is huge. It was owned by Waste Management at the time, and I just learned so much about myself, and I got to put all those things I had learned into reality. But that business, they did a lot portable storage and moving. That moving industry itself was their focus, and I was fortunate to have an opportunity to come down to Jacksonville, Florida, and joined Trailer Bridge. And it's been a 30-year-old business in transportation. We were founded by the inventor of the container, Malcolm McLean. So it's got a great history to the business.
I knew that. That is a great story.
Yeah. North Carolina truck driver, was hauling freight from North Carolina up to the New Jersey port. And, they were just transloading it onto ocean. And he's like, why don't we just get a container? And so he built a career out of that. He actually owned the Pinehurst Resort for a while during his time, but Trailer Bridge was his last business that he had started and ran, and he had just a great history behind him. And our company services the Caribbean, and we've serviced Puerto Rico the entire time. We have 2 weekly sailings southbound, 2 weekly sailings northbound. And my first boss professionally, the individual that hired me out of college, UNC Chapel Hill, go Heels. Mitch Luciano had moved up in his career and had become CEO here at Trailer Bridge, and he wanted to grow the domestic business, and I had the good opportunity of coming here. They'd already built a great foundation, and just kind of was able to kind of go from, I think we had 2 offices at the time, to now we got 10 across the U.S. and hire a bunch of people and just bring talented people into the same place. And It's been a lot of fun. It's definitely growing is a lot better than the opposite for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and Tony, I would agree that is a very cool story with the invention of the container. But I want to go back to something you said earlier. You started, oh 07, oh 08, oh 09. There's probably a lot of people on this call that don't even remember those time periods. Those of us a little bit older, we do. What were some of the
Yeah.
things that you learned going through that? Because we've had several kind of recessions since then, kind of ups and downs in the market, but that was a pretty significant one in 07, 08. What are some things you learned in business going through that, and some of the leaders that helped navigate through those times, which were kind of sketchy? Like none of us really knew how it was going to turn out.
No, without a doubt, and I definitely think it helped me when 2020 came about. And my professional career started in 2003. I started at the desk level, as a lot of the people in here, which is I think a great thing about Trailer Bridge. A lot of our leadership started at the entry level position, so we've seen all different sides of it. But the first time I got a manager job, like the greatest recession, at least since the late '80s or before that come about, and I just had no experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to lay some people off, and it's just you just don't it's just very difficult to go through something like that if you don't have the experience. And I was a young manager, and so I think along the way I've developed a version of confidence, and I say that not that I know exactly what I'm doing. I like to say nobody really knows what they're doing, and just that if you're willing to react quicker, if you understand your business, if you understand your clients as best you can, and just try to provide the best possible solution, develop relationships. I mean, relationships is something I really believe strongly in. I mean, me and you, we've only met a couple times and have a pretty good relationship, right? You convinced me
Our
to come on
social
this
media,
thing and
our LinkedIn.
and talk, right? So, those kinds of things that you just lean on. And but the 2020 was a completely different version of that. But all the people that have a leadership position, or even just starting your career and having gone through it, they will be so much better prepared for different situations.
Yeah, and the truth is, there's those milestones or those events that happen in our life that we can lean back on, and we can look back and say, we made it through that, or here's what we learned through that. When you find yourself in a similar situation, I mean, oh 07, oh 08, that was pretty wild time. And for people to think, okay, well, we made it through there. I know for me, my life actually improved through that, because that change in the market also changed kind of what I was doing career wise, and launched me into a sales career and some different things that I don't know, maybe I might not have gone through that if that hadn't happened. And so I
Yeah.
think those milestones are really valuable when you hit 2020, when you see what's coming up in 2023 potentially, and what we're hearing right now. It gives you a little bit of confidence, not so much that you know everything, but that, okay, we've survived this before. We'll survive this. We'll figure it out. We figured it out before. We don't know the answers, but we'll figure it out. I think that's so good for for a leader to have that experience, to navigate other people through that, who this might be their first or second time going through that.
Without a doubt. Go back. We started this startup in 06, 07, and I got stock options and I got these things. And I was like, man, I'm going to be rich by 30. This is great. Wonderful. We had this private equity group give us some money. And then, 08 happens. And then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to sell this and it's all over. And so it's like, oh, man, life changes quick.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not going to be as successful as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, that tends to happen, right? We bought a house in 06 and we thought we got a great deal. And then in 08, we're like, well, I guess we're not moving for a while. So I guess we'll be around for a while. Let's talk a little bit about, being at Trailer Bridge specifically. I've had a chance to meet some of your team members, and I've got to meet some of them at TMSA, got to meet Whitney down there and several others as well. The culture at Trailer Bridge seems from the outside to be really special. What is it that you guys are doing to create that internally, and then to encourage people to share that externally with social media, with prospects, with friends? Like, talk about the culture at Trailer Bridge and what you guys are building.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fight Club. I don't know if that's too old of a reference in my opinion, where it's like you don't really talk about. We've got. I mean, I think leadership plays a part in it. I think a culture is more than just leadership, but it also, if you don't have the leadership, the executive group
Yeah.
that supports it, it's really hard for it to go anywhere. So I mean that's from Mitch, the entire C-suite executives. Indy, who's our chief people officer, I believe, is she runs our corporate development group, our marketing group, which is Whitney's under, and we have a leadership development program. So I mean, all those kinds of things, some of those soft things, but we really value. From me, who's I'm on the business side of it. I just really give people ownership in what they do. I mean, me and Kyle Jones, who's our VP of sales, does a sales training program. So I guess, which I lead. I don't know that I should necessarily be leading the sales training, but me and Kyle do. Kyle's much better than me. And we had a group of 12 people yesterday. So it's a 5-session program. It's 90 minutes each time. And it ends with some, we do role play the last couple sessions. So, mock sales calls. And, you're just going through, the sales process and doing it. And again, I go back, I like to say, nobody really, we got advice to give you, but for you to be successful, it's up to you. But I'm not the type of person that gives people like call minimum numbers or anything like, you've got to want it, man. I can create, we fortunately have an incentive plan where if the employee does really well, they're going to do really well financially. And so you give them that and it's like, hey man, this is what it takes to be successful. If you want it, we got a place for you to go and get it. But I'm not sitting over there saying, oh man, you're short on your calls. Like, it's really up to you, man. Provide value, give people opportunity, give people ownership, from managing accounts to managing carriers. And you'll be surprised the creative human brain and where it'll take people.
100%. And I think that the majority of problems from mismanagement comes from having people either not in the right seats or not incentivizing them the correct way. When you do those things, when you have them in the right seat and they're incentivized the right way, a lot of times those things take care of themselves and management becomes a lot easier. Not perfect, but certainly a lot easier when that happens. You don't have to look over their shoulder, get them in the right seat, get them in the right incentive plan, let them run. And they're, like you said, they're going to be more creative than you ever will. They'll come up with ideas that you probably never would have come up with. And I think that's the power of really strong leadership is when you build that trust, you gain speed, not only in their processes, but also in the creative side of getting better, of process improvement. I mean, it's really a win-win when you do things the right way from a management standpoint. It's brutal when you get it wrong. It's like pulling teeth when you get it wrong. But I think that mismanagement is really stemmed from those things. So just not having people in the right seats and not incentivizing the right way,
Without a doubt. I think those things are so fortunate. And then, getting the right people. And some of those people come with experience. Some people come with no experience. We take all kinds. There's values on every side. And, I definitely, trying to keep things as fun. We're in transportation logistics. It can be stressful. When the shipment doesn't show up on time, we do produce shipments, just so many different things. And the work can get stressful and that's real. And, I think there's a self-selection process a lot of times in the people that work here, the level of stress maybe they can handle versus what somebody else can handle. But at the same time, try to keep it fun, try to do as much as you can. It takes everybody without a doubt.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it really is a people business. No matter what you're doing, you get those relationships built right. You get people in the right seats, and things tend to work out pretty well when you go in that direction. All right, I want to change the conversation just a little bit. I want to talk about what's happening right now in the industry, and with freight and ocean, some of those types of things. When you look forward to the next 6 to 12 months, what are some things that you're seeing in the industry, and how are you using that to communicate with your team and make sure that that everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, it definitely seems like, we've been in this kind of 2-year run since probably like late summer of COVID, where, it's just people just been trying to ship as much as they can just to meet demand, to match demand. And that's appeared to slow down a little bit. Now, there's still lots of systemic problems from port congestion to like all these different things going on. And so, managing all those changes and I try. My focus is on the staff. I would tell you like that's. We're still hiring in all of our locations, and maybe we've had some customers that their freight volumes have dropped a little bit since late spring, but we're in a $1 trillion+ industry. There's lots of opportunity out there, and so we're just trying to educate as much as we have, and I feel like if we've got the right environment and the right staff, we can evolve to any situation. We've technology in our business is a big deal, and we're very fortunate that we've got a great partner with Mastery, and we went live with that with our domestic transportation group just a couple months ago, and so that's been going live with anything is hard. Us trying to get on this Zoom took took God knows how long.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, when you decide to put your entire business unit on a new system, but I mean, we're so excited. We're so fortunate, Danielle Prigge and just their whole team there at Mastery, that we're just fortunate to have a great partner. And, they started with our domestic group, and we're going to move towards all of our business units, over the course of the next 12, 24 months. And, I look at that as such an advantage for our employees. We view technology just as a way enhancing what they do, so that the staff can do more. We don't want less staff. I just want more staff, but I just want each staff member has the capability to do more transactions and more. They're going to make more money. And if they make more money, that's great for us.
That's
so, those are the kinds of things. I'm more focused on the people side. I've seen the industry go 100 different ways over the course of the last 20 years. And so I'm just confident that we'll be able to react to what the industry gives us.
Well, that's one thing I really appreciate you. I mean, if that is not a glasses half full perspective, I don't know what is. I think it's great to have that level of positivity. And I want to brag on you guys for just one moment. This was 2 years ago, but I have to tell this quick story. So came to Jacksonville to visit you guys on the sales call. And typically, like, we're the vendor, like, we're supposed to pay. Like, this is our job. We're supposed to treat you guys. And you guys treated us in a way that I still remember. That steak was tremendous. And, it was just an awesome experience. And again, it goes back to the type of leadership that you have, the type of culture that you have. And it's just infectious, Eric. I just love it. And I really appreciate you just being on the call today to talk about, your culture, what you guys are doing, how you're leading. And it's exciting to see what Trailer Bridge is going to be doing in the future. What are some things on the horizon for Trailer Bridge?
So, yeah, I am very optimistic. That can always be a difficult thing for me, like when we're budgeting and doing things like that. Because I just keep on thinking like, oh, yeah, we'll I mean,
it's gonna be great. No problems. That's right.
300+ million this year, and I don't see why we can't be $1 billion and pretty quick. And that's definitely our target. We opened Kansas City office earlier this year. We've just opened an LTL office in Denver. So really excited about that. And then I envision, where our Mexico operation, we've got different locations in Mexico. We started that like February of COVID year, which was like, oh, this is great. And then the entire border shuts down, when COVID starts. It's like, I don't know if this is the greatest time for a Mexico group. But, it's been one of the fastest growing segments of our business, which is wonderful. We opened an intermodal office in Dallas a little over a year ago, or a little less than a year ago, rather. And so I foresee us maybe getting, a Canada location. I foresee us a couple more West Coast type locations. So I think we'll have 3 or 4 more different offices. Really exciting news here in Jacksonville. We've got an office 40 to 50 people, and we're moving into an office in less than a month for over 100. So we're really excited about that for sure.
Well, don't ever stop being optimistic. I mean, this is why we have CFOs, because they kind of keep everything grounded. Like, okay, I know you want that. This is where we're at. This is our budget. So don't lose the optimistic side of things. And I think that's just so exciting to see you guys growing and what you guys are doing. So kudos to you guys on that. And again, thanks for being on the show, man. It's just a blast to chat. I hope you'll come back and see us again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Enjoyed it.
All right, everybody. So thanks so much for being a part of the show today with Eric. Make sure you come back tomorrow for another episode with Brad Reinhardt. We're going to talk about transportation clubs. I think they got a good one down in Jacksonville, if I remember correctly. We're going to talk about that and several other things as well. And so make sure you come back tomorrow and every day for an episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Eric. See you, bud.